What's up YouTube, it's Onion Bomb here, and welcome back to another Tiger King reaction video. Today we're on episode 7 of this Netflix documentary, and this is actually the second to last episode, so we are coming down to it. And as proof that we're coming down to it, last time we covered the part where Joe got arrested, but he has more to tell apparently. So he claims after Jeff kinda took the park from him. However, it wasn't all like him just being evil, because Joe did some things we learned to like use his money for like political campaigns that he was running for, governor and president and all that, and he was using that as like work expenses, which isn't a good idea to do, especially when it's not your money. But you know, Joe did bail Jeff out of jail for a couple times. So like, they both weren't perfect, and then they still weren't perfect either. And then Jeff kind of just kicked Joe out, or like he got Joe to leave. He scared him off, and yeah, then later he got arrested for trying to hire someone to kill Carol. Literally, like, hire a hitman. He was gonna hire Jeff's right hand man, Alan. Yeah, I was gonna say I forgot his name, but it came to me, Alan. But then he didn't follow through with it, and it seemed like it was gonna happen, but he changed his mind. I don't know. Like, you can't really arrest someone for that, but I feel like you should like at least put him on a list or something, because he's like, I don't know. But one of the other guys became like an informant. He was kind of blackmailed into being an informant, and he like got someone to like pretend to be a hitman to get Joe, and he hired him, and they could only arrest him, I think they said, if he sent money, and then I think he did end up sending money, and then it went downhill from there. So yeah, that's where we left off from Tiger King. We will see what else this has in it, and we'll see what Jeff is gonna say. Sorry, what Joe is gonna say. So many J names. What Joe is gonna say to maybe convince me, agree with him that he shouldn't be in jail. Because right now, I don't know. I feel like he's pretty valid. Pretty valid reason to almost like trying to hire to kill someone, even if that someone is speculated to be not the best person either. But anyway, let's get into this. Pikachu's. So I think that's Travis. So this is older footage, I guess. Of course, duh, because Jeff is not in jail.
In a cage. You know why animals die in cages? Their soul dies.
Ooh, Dethroned.
This is where the new zoo will be located.
Oh yeah, I forgot they like
We have to be
relocated
open
too.
by spring break.
The zoo together. I'm bringing $2 or $3 million worth of equipment.
Oh wow. Well,
Are you worried about
feel
the
like you
fallout
could
of
use-
Joe's case?
Oh no.
so this
not a
guy's
bit.
now in it.
Not a bit.
Still here talking to you.
Ooh. So they're married now. Did I know that? I might have.
Freddie, I love you. Those are our conversations every day, 3 times a day.
I know I already mentioned this, but that relationship seems like like probably the best one Joe's had yet.
Jeff Lowe let the feds into Joe's house, took Joe's documents, jump drives, and all this other stuff.
That's his house?
It just opened up so many cans of worms for Joe.
Did they mess up themselves, or?
Federal authorities made some key discoveries. Bones of big cats.
Shot 5 tigers and they dug them up
Oh.
and found the skulls.
They trumped up all the
19.
wildlife charges to put pressure on Joe because the murder for hire charge was so flimsy. Why they came up with the other 20 silly ass charges. The mix of all that together takes this poor dolt and gets him into a position where he appears to be this great big felonious murderer.
We haven't seen Doc in a
Crucial to
while.
bring, and
killing 5 tigers that were at his facility in October of 2017. The remaining counts are all related to the sale of tiger and lion cubs.
Why did he shoot these tigers, Were they sick?
79 years.
7? Wow.
They superseded my tigers, okay? If you have a sick tiger or lion that needs to put to sleep, you don't shoot it or don't it.
So they were sick.
Didn't really care who he screwed.
I think James's mentality was, he says, look, he says, you came to me with a problem of Joe. He says, I helped you out.
Jeff would be indicted if it wasn't for me.
They're getting into it now.
I stuck my neck out for you, and why wouldn't you put my name on your zoo? And I said, you know, James, it just doesn't work like that.
Everybody wants to be the biggest, but nobody focuses on being the nicest. All right, you're not gonna show this to the defense attorney when I lay it all out. Don't free that motherfucker. No. So basically, what happened is Jeff Lowe helped put the thing together. Jeff Lowe told me on the phone that he was going to use Alan Glover.
Joe, he offered me money to go and murder that lady. First it was $5,000, but the only thing he come up with was $3,000.
Yeah, this was from last time, I think.
About getting Joe in trouble, getting him locked up for what he did.
They would have to fucking promise me not to fucking lock my ass up for that.
Now the trial begins.
That's another thing. I had to buy pants. I haven't worn pants in 20 years. I got to buy business attire. I keep telling myself over and over, I'm involved in a federal murder for hire plot. Who'd have thought?
By an FBI agent, and he said point blank, are you going to be on Team Government or are you going to be on Team Joe? That's the scariest moment of my life.
And like, what can you do?
His hand, and I knew he just shot Cuddles. I heard it, and he come up the hill and goes, "God damn, Eric! If I knew it was going to be this easy, just walk right up to the cage. I'll just go kill them all. There's no way for me to stop it."
So big, so fast.
So he's definitely grown attached to these cats.
No. I'm testifying against him on both. Murder for hire and the animals. I was Joe's right-hand man for 16 years. What I'd go to prison for. I'm trying to make sure I don't go.
Let's check in with our Sylvia Corkill, who's live downtown. She tells us that witness got emotional today.
Anybody there for Joe. There was people sitting on his side, but there was like nobody there for him as a person.
When they were sitting there watching Carol go down the bike path and looking at her house to see where he could sit and shoot her through a window, Joe was back at his desk minding his own business.
A very skilled con man. How is he not facing any charges? I don't think that it is any surprise that he did not testify. He would have perjured himself.
I think the hitman Luz tells you it's kind of a witch hunt because this guy went down there to fucking murder her.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not even going to get it fucking probation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not looking at him at all.
Part of this shit was letting.
About going to Florida. It never happened.
Well, there were mixed stories, but Alan apparently testified that he actually came to Florida. So I believe him.
Alan never went to Florida.
Why would he say he went to Florida?
What the hell I want to go there for? I wasn't going to kill no motherfucking body. He could have gave me $1 million fucking dollars. I went and killed that fucking woman. That's enough. I wouldn't even went to fucking Florida.
Wow, this is not what he was saying in the interviews.
Apparently, I chickened the fuck out.
I told him that right before Thanksgiving, I called Jeff and I say, Jeff, Alan won't wear a uniform. He won't do anything I ask him to do. He says he doesn't work for me. Better off in South Carolina. Thanksgiving Day, I had cooked dinner for 150 people, and they donated enough. I could put together $3,000 to give Alan so he could get the hell out of there.
Here, sweet, I'll help you. Put your plate up here.
So he's saying it's
he was
not
set up each step of the way. He's not smart enough to go through with what he did. Who hires a $3,000 hitman? He's also stupid. A cross-country traveling high-end hitman cannot cost $3,000. I don't think it could cost $30,000. I think it's probably $100,000 to find that guy. And you certainly don't find them from a new friend.
Jeff Lowe set him up. That is the truth of the matter.
What is setting up a person? Turning them in or allowing them to talk while you're recording them? Is that setting them up?
I don't really know what to think right now.
For the government's evidence that we showed the jury a variety of the social media postings that Mr. Passage had made that referenced Miss Baskin in a violent way.
This
Having her
probably
killed
isn't
Mr.
the
Passage built his
best
own
against him.
kingdom. He was the Tiger Devil. And it's your job now to make sure that no one, not even the Tiger King, is allowed to be above the laws of the United States.
Guilty.
Sport Cubs. The murder for hire thing, I don't think it ever would have went this far without somebody pushing it.
A lot of people questioned, is Jeff Lowe, should he face charges as well?
He's a director of a zoo. I mean, it's the same zoo that Joe has, so.
So he was
Tiger
found
King
guilty?
in jail, in a cage.
Aw. I didn't know if that guy was
Sad.
saying what he wanted or what happened.
I'm telling you, man, it's worse than what you can ever treat an animal. I'm being treated like that in here.
To be induced to give birth to Sarah Evelyn Lowe.
Oh.
And then we get Lauren back in the gym.
Yes, we're getting a nanny. I need help.
I said, you can get a nanny as long as I get to pick her. You're gonna bring in one, why bring in one that's not enjoyable to look at? I mean, you're gonna have to have this person living in your home.
Well,
Bro.
They don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't think I'm finished in this.
Yo, whoever got this shot is the MVP of the documentary. Whose ever ideas with this music too.
So, I called and I asked the feds, what's going to happen to these people that's done all this stuff? They said it is far from over.
Ooh.
Give the names, I can shut them all down. I have the proof of everything. My ally right now? Fuck no. But I'm done with the animal world, so let's just shut all the troublemakers down.
To share information with us about wildlife trafficking in the United States, the abuse of animals that's going on behind the scenes.
I'm not fucking around. I can't be targeted. How do you target me?
Joe told me that Doc Antle puts tiger cubs who've aged out of playtime events in a gas chamber to kill them, and then that he cremates their bodies in his on-site crematorium.
He's talking about Doc Antle when he was on kind of on Joe's side in his interviews. Oh man, he's like taking everyone down.
I've had so many calls. He'll scream, I hang up. He'll scream, I hang up.
I didn't go 900 miles to build a damn zoo by my damn self so he could take the glory.
So now that so now that lasted a part in this their
Keep your
partnership.
friends close, but keep your enemies closer.
Now you got Tim talking to Joe, Joe talking to Peter, and all these people hated one another 6 months ago.
Wow, this is crazy.
What started out as this feud between two people, good and noble fight to stop cub selling, cub petting, turned into a personal and legal court battle, and it just became about them. Of the hundreds of thousands spent investigating Joe. Think of their millions of followers, donors, and whatnot. Think of how far that could go, saving these tigers in their natural habitats.
He's got a
We've
point.
completely lost sight and lost touch of what really matters here.
Animals, that they have a place in the world, and that's in Africa and Asia and India, not in Oklahoma.
So started the zoo for good purposes, good reasons.
The state needs to pass laws that this breeding has got to stop.
But as the money rose, I think his care for the animals declined. At all.
Yo, he was.
And what was really sad is I had to
completely different ideals.
Film a reality show to make it look like he did.
I finally moved my 2 chimpanzees last week. Sit in cages next to each other for over 10 years.
and we moved them to the Great Ape Senior in Florida. And in 2 days, they were out in a big yard hugging on each other. Did I deprive them of that for 10 years? Yep. Do it on purpose? No, I was wrapped up in having a zoo.
Yeah. 22 years. It's not been passed. It's rated. Oh, is this actually the end? I thought we had one more. I thought it was 8. I guess it's 7. Wow. That's the documentary. Oh, I'm definitely glad I kept going with this and I only had 2 left. Wow, what a story. And what a documentary. That's crazy. Okay, wait, no. There is another episode. But it's like a special kind of thing. It's some other guy who's like interviewing the people and looking back on it. I just quickly watched a couple seconds. Alright, so yeah, there is one more. It's not necessarily a part of the documentary, but I think it's a bonus thing, but still. But anyway, so that was kinda sorta the end of Tiger King. That was the end of like the main like story thing. I could like, you know, it did seem like it was wrapping up a bit. So I understand now how there's like the 8th is a special kind of interview. Well, I guess the whole thing had interviews, but you know what I mean. Like it's a different kind of thing. That was during the coronavirus because it looks like they're gonna be over like Zoom or whatnot. And they said they're in a global pandemic. And not that I knew it released, but like I mean it was recorded during that, and not that COVID is anywhere near over. It seems like, but that is the ending. That was really good and well put together. Joe is sentenced to 22 years in prison. That's a long time. And I don't know how I feel about it, because like the things he was kind of like, he was set up, but like I don't know, they said he was kind of like pushed along to it, but like he was pretty crazy. But people were saying he wasn't gonna do anything, but like, you know, kind of Jeff kind of pushed him along to it and kind of set him up for it. I mean, he still went through with it. Actually, I take that back, because I don't know if he did, because he was talking about like he was giving him $3,000 for like a uniform or something. It wasn't to kill Carol, and then he was even saying like 3,000. I don't know. Was he even? Did he even like do that? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation, and then him killing the tigers. Depending on why he did it, the reasoning is like, you know, of course, like he said they were sick, and that's understandable, because sometimes it just, you know, there's nothing you can do. But you know, how sick were they? Were they actually sick? But it does seem a little bit thin for 22 years in jail. I mean, he had the whole cubbing thing going on, but like no one else is going down for that. Like we saw like a whole documentary of people doing that. So I don't know. It is kind of crazy and unfortunate that he was like, you know, like trying to take everyone else down, but like, and one of those people were Dogger Von Antle, who was pretty much all of these interviews were speaking really like in support of Joe. Like he didn't testify for him in court, but like he was really fun, and him just to turn around and do that, that's so unfortunate, because Doc didn't do the same to him. I mean, don't get me wrong, like that's not like the point really, because it was wrong of him if he does do that like euthanizing thing with the gas. Like if he does that just because they're too old to like get money off of him or get law money off him, then that is completely out of the question wrong and deserves to be called out. But it's just unfortunate timing with everything heard. And I don't know, he didn't deny, but he didn't comment on the charges. He didn't accept them. His place was raided in 2019, it said, and he also had some other allegations earlier on in the documentary about that. So I don't know, innocent until proven guilty, but these people that were close are saying it, so I don't know. It's not looking good for him. But that was Joe's campaign manager. I forget his name, but he had a great point and probably made some of the most sense. And he was like, "We've lost the what this is all about is about like the tigers. Like, it's all about like everyone has these like zoos and sanctuaries, and then we all started trying to take each other down, and like the animals became an afterthought. Like they still like worked with them and took care of them, but like their focus was just not on the animals at all, and that wasn't right to them." And it seemed like Joe really cared about animals, like, back in the day. And he did breeding, the thing he does, or did, he didn't do, and he was against. You saw the interviews, like, he was against what he was. Like, younger him would have been against older him. And that's crazy. Like, I guess it got to his head, the power, the money, or the fake power, because he considered himself the Tiger King, but at the end of the day, he was still just the owner of his zoo. Something just changed him, I guess, and like even so, he said like he deprived those chimpanzees at the end for 10 years, like being like together and being whatnot, just messing around, and then like he was saying like he didn't do it on purpose. And he seemed like he felt bad about it. So, like, somewhere in Joe is, like, a heart for animals. Even, like, better one than, like, Carol, or what hers claimed to be. Just, like, really caring about them. But, like, I guess, like, the attention and, like, fame or pride or whatever really just got in the way of it, and like it almost seems so apparent that it seems like fiction almost, like that Joe's just like a character written. Like you can't even make this up. This was a mad story though. Like the fact that it's any sort of real is crazy, and it is real. And it's just so much, like there's betrayal, there was like allegations, conspiracy, just a whole battle, shocking moments, a whole lot of drama. It was intense too, just crazy. Jeff, I don't know. They didn't mention anything happened to him, so I guess he's still living scot-free. I mean, he has a daughter now. He like doesn't seem like the best person. He definitely seems hard to get along with. I think if Joe's in jail, he should be in jail too. I'm still confused what Alan, like what they're doing with Alan. Like, are they like the actual hitman? Shouldn't we go after him too, and not just the hirer? Like the alleged hirer? Because that might not even be a thing. It does seem like Jeff definitely pushed that along a lot, and maybe even like fabricated a little bit of it at some points. But just some of the stuff I saw in that documentary, I'm having a hard time believing that Joe didn't have at least a little bit of interest in doing that himself, or like a little bit of motive. Definitely a little bit of motive, but yeah. Carol wasn't necessarily bad unless she actually did kill her husband, but I don't know. She was kind of annoying at times, if I'm being honest. Like, I guess she's trying to help these cats, but I don't know. There were some moments where she seemed a little bit hypocritical and just, you know, just a little bit annoying. I mean, it's the same thing with PETA, like, especially on Twitter. Like, PETA can come off as annoying. They have good intentions, but they just seem really annoying, and, like, they just miss their message, miss the mark, and they don't do a good job. I love how this last episode's called Dethroned. I thought that's really cool. Very fitting name. And yeah, it was just crazy how he had no one in court for him. But if you get a call saying you're either Team Government or Team Joe, and like you legally have to like go there because you're part of this, like, what can you do? Like, you have to go against the government to be for Joe, and like, if you're not completely with Joe to begin with, then like that's like you're not gonna do that. So like that's just tough on him. It's something, definitely. Joe Exotic is not the best person. That is apparent. But like he's not a terrible person by any means. Like he Thanksgiving and Christmas he made those dinners for everyone in the community. That was cool. And like, you know, towards the end he was showing some sympathy for the animals. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think he should be in jail right now. He kind of convinced me. Maybe I'm backtracking a bit here, but like, he's kind of like out there, so like it can kind of lead you to believe that he's kind of should be in jail, but like from actual facts of the matter, it almost seems like he shouldn't, at least right yet. Like I don't know. They did cover some things, but at the same time, you never really know if you're like not there. Like they covered allegations of him hiring Alan and allegations of him not hiring Alan, and he was pushed along for this. He was set up. But like Jeff, I didn't really like Jeff. He was one of my least favorite people in this thing. Like he just didn't seem like a good person at all, and I don't know, he rubbed me the wrong way. But like he did have a point when he said like saying something up, like, you know, he almost set a trap, but like the trap worked because Joe could have been willing to. What if it wasn't a trap? What if it was really a hitman going to kill Carol? So like, you just can't go do that, killing someone. So it's a pretty sticky situation. I'll admit. And I'm no judge or nor jury, no executioner. So I don't know what to say there, but 22 years at least is a bit steep for that, at least in my opinion. Now, if he absolutely undefiantly did it, and then maybe he does deserve some jail time. But like, from what it sounded like, the charge was thin, and like they dug up some stuff, literally dug up tiger bones to like pack it on so it looked better. And that's just, stuff like that is just so corrupt, and it's just not right. Again, it really just depends on things, like, why did he kill the tigers? What was the actual thing that went down with the murder for hire? Like, what happened? It just seemed like they knew what they wanted, and they got it. And made sure they got it. I don't know. Stuff like this actually happens a lot. It doesn't always have a spotlight on it, and it's unfortunate. Especially like a spotlight this big. I don't mean like tigers and stuff like this. I'm giving off the right. I mean like getting screwed over by the justice system and court and whatnot. I've just heard some things and stories, and it can be unfortunate. But I think that's all I have to say regarding that last episode. And like I said, documentary in general was shot really well. I liked a lot of the camera stuff, and like I just liked how it went going from past and future, and like it got stuff all together and really edited well and mixed well, and yeah, very entertaining. And like I said, just a crazy story. I've said that word like 5,000 times of this reaction series. I'll continue to say it because this is crazy. It's insane even. And I'm glad I decided to check this out, especially for reaction. Otherwise, I don't think I would have. And like I said at the very beginning of this, a while ago, documentaries aren't always my thing. But this one was very entertaining for me. I know I'm speaking like this is over. We do have the one episode left. It is 8 episodes, but like it's a different one. It's not a part of the documentary. It's someone we're talking about documentary and like what like life with these people now is what it looks like to me. And I'm not spoiling it for myself. I just was confused. I watched the first like minute of the documentary of this next episode. And no, I didn't watch it yet. I just want to know what was going on. So that will be for next time, guys. Hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy. For now, that's going to do it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. No, it's always up to you. I'll see you guys in the next video you watch from me. Goodbye.
Wanna tangle, I can feel them try to grab me by the ankles. I can hear them all start to say my name, oh. But it's not about the money or the fame, no. No, it's all about me just doing my thing, yo. Cause I'm loving what I do and I won't change, no. I feel blessed, I could do this every day, yo.